Hello everyone and welcome to a new Spec preview video from the World of Warcraft Legion Alpha. My name is Juanin, and in this video we will take a look at some of the abilities for the Survival Hunter, one of the specs with the most changes in this expansion. Please consider that everything you will see in this video is in development, so it is subject to change at any time. But with that in mind, let's take a look at what the new Survival Hunter can do. Harpoon is an ability that allows you to get closer to your target very quickly. This ability has a very long range, and it can work through different obstacles and heights. You can improve it with the post-haste talent and more. Mongoose Bite is a 3-charge ability that deals more damage as you spend said charges. Every time you spend a charge, you will deal damage to your target and gain a stacking buff that increases the damage of your next Mongoose Bite by 50%. While the buff stacks, getting a new stack doesn't refresh the duration of the buff. You can get more additional charges with the Snake Hunter talent. With Flanking Strike, you and your pet will deal damage at the same time depending on who has the target's aggro. If you don't have the aggro, you will deal extra damage and your pet will deal normal damage with this ability. But if you have the aggro, your pet will deal more damage and you will deal normal damage, but your pet will remove your threat and get aggro from you instead. Using this ability has a chance to give you a charge of Mongoose Bite as well. Laceration is a bleed effect on the target that deals damage through a long period of time. Damage ticks every 1 second for 10 seconds. You can improve this effect with talents such as Mortal Wounds. Carve hits all enemies in a cone in front of you with a moderate amount of damage. You can improve this effect with talents such as Serpent Sting, which applies a poison effect to all targets hit by Carve that deals damage spread over 10 seconds, or other talents as Butchery. Raptor Strike is a single target ability that deals a reasonable amount of damage for a small amount of focus. This ability can be improved by Serpent Sting 2, or with Way of the Mognathal, which increases your attack power. Wing Clip is coming back from the last time we saw it in Cataclysm. It doesn't deal damage, but it drastically reduces your target's movement speed. This ability doesn't have a recharge time, so you can use it on different enemies at the same time. You can improve this ability with Ranger's Net. Hatchet Toss is a cheap ability that deals a very small amount of damage, but it is very useful when trying to pull enemies from groups and make them fall into your traps or other area effects. Explosive Trap has returned to its previous form. When an enemy steps on it, the trap explodes, dealing instant damage to all nearby enemies, and then deals area damage to all targets standing on the fire for a limited time. Tar Trap is a rebranding of Frost Trap with a new name and visual effects. When an enemy steps on the trap, it triggers, covering the area with a pool of tar that reduces movement speed of all targets that walk on it. Freezing Trap remains the same. It immediately freezes an enemy that stands on it and stops them from performing any actions for a minute. You can also replace and improve some of these traps through talents. Survival Hunters also have other utility abilities, such as Aspect of the Cheetah, which increases the hunter's movement speed by 90% for a couple of seconds, and then by 30% for an extended period of time. Aspect of the Eagle, which increases your and your pet's ability's critical strike chance, as well as your chance to gain charges of Mongoose Bite. Aspect of the Turtle, which reflects enemy attacks and allows you to get less damage from all sources for a short period of time. Acceleration, which heals a hunter for 30% of their maximal health and their pet for their full health. Muzzle, which interrupts spell casting and prevents spells from that magic school for a short time. Fang Death, I don't need to explain that one, right? Eagle Eye, which allows you to see a distant area, and Flare, which allows you to reveal invisible and stealthed enemies. The Survival Hunter talents allow them to improve their abilities and get new ones. In the first tier, you can choose between Animal Instincts, which grants haste, movement speed, or mastery buffs after casting Flanking Strike. Throwing Axes, a 2-charge ability that throws 3 axes to your target per charge. And Way of the Mognathal, which gives you a stacking attack power buff every time you use Raptor Strike. In the second tier, you can choose between Post Haste, which frees you from any movement impairing effects and increases your movement speed when you use Harpoon. Fast Strider, which grants your critical strikes a chance to reduce your Harpoon's cooldown. And Dash, which increases the duration of Aspect of the Cheetah. In the third tier, you can choose between Caltrops, which replaces your Tar Trap to throw Caltrops on the ground. They reduce enemies' movement speed by 50% and deals a small amount of damage to them. Improved Traps, which decreases your trap's cooldowns. And Steel Trap, which roots your target and deals a moderate amount of damage to them over time. In the fourth tier, you can choose between Sticky Bomb, a grenade that sticks to your target and explodes, dealing damage to all nearby enemies and knocking them down. Ranger's Net, which replaces Wing Clip, rooting an enemy for some seconds and then reduces their movement speed. And Camouflage, which grants stealth to you and your pet, heals you and your pet by 2% of your maximal health every second, and grants you a 10 extra % damage to your next attack. In the fifth tier, you can choose between a Murder of Crows, which summons crows that will attack your target over a moderate amount of time, resenting if the target dies by crow suicide. Dragon's Fire Trap, which replaces your explosive trap to ignite a single enemy on fire, reducing speed movement and making that enemy deal damage to nearby enemies as it burns. And Snake Hunter, which grants you 3 Mungus Bite charges immediately out of global cooldowns. In the 6th tier, you can choose between Butchery, which applies laceration to all enemies hit by Carve. Mortal Wounds, that grants your laceration ticks a chance to grant you a charge of Mungus Bite. And Serpent Sting, which allows your Carve and Raptor Strike to apply a poison effect on the targets that deals damage over time. In the final tier, you can choose between Spinning Cobra, which summons a cobra that attacks enemies over an extended period of time and grants you focus every second. Expert Trapper, which improves your traps with new effects such as, when your freezing trap breaks, the victim's movement speed is reduced for a small period of time, the fire on the ground caused by your explosive trap deals more damage, targets affected by Tar Trap can be rooted for some seconds, a target that triggers your Steel Trap is damaged instantly too, and Dragon's Fire Trap victims spread the effect to nearby enemies, making them feel the burning pain too. And finally, Aspect of the Beast, which applies an X-ray effect to your pet every time you cast Flanking Strike, depending on your pet's spec. As a summary, Survival Hunters as melee fighters are an expansion of those very old Hunter melee abilities with great expertise at controlling and tearing enemies apart with their pets and weapons. If you always wanted to play Rexar, this is your spec. If you liked this video, remember to share it with your friends and give us a like. To see more videos, subscribe to our channel and check out our Legion playlist. For even more content from other creators, remember to go back to the World of Warcraft subreddit over at r/wow. Thanks for watching this video and see you in Azeroth. Bye!